All right, so now let's go ahead with example 4 and simplify each rational expression. So we'll need to factor, the numerator's good. However, the denominator, we can factor out a 2, be left with x plus 3. Now we can reduce this fraction here and reduce it to, then 6 and 2 gives me a 3 when I divide by 2. So that's a 3 in the numerator, a 1 in the denominator, which I'm not going to write, and then the expression x plus 3. So there is my reduced expression. B, the numerator, I can factor out an m, be m minus 5, and then I have m squared, which is m times m. So when I reduce it, then I will reduce those and get my 1, and I would then be left with a m minus 5 in the numerator and an m in the denominator. And that's my answer there. So then D, I have 5c minus 15, so 5 factors out, leaves me with c minus 3, divided by the denominator, 3 factors out, and leaves me with c minus 3. All right, so now this time, when I go to reduce, what's in common is this entire parentheses. So c minus 3, and it has to be the entire parentheses that cancels. I can't just cancel a c or a negative 3. I'm canceling the whole parentheses, which is like this whole parentheses. So parentheses over parentheses gives me a 1, and my final answer is 5/3 for that. D, I need to factor again, so I have a 5y in common there. That leaves me with y minus 3. And then denominator, there's a 10 in both of those, and a y to the second. And when I factor that out, 10 goes out. That leaves me with y plus, and then a 6 right there. So that good? All right, so now I want to cancel that. And well, let's see, I've got my 5 and my 10, which are not exactly alike. Let's see what's happening here. There. I have my 5 and my 10, which are exactly alike, but they're going to reduce, what, to 1/2, so 1/2. And then my y over y squared, one of those y's is going to cancel, and it's going to leave me with just one y down here. So I have this, and then y minus 3 over y plus 6 are not the same. So I have y minus 3 and y plus 6. Now the thing about when we're working with these expressions and doing this factoring, then we do not need to multiply this back out. We can leave it in a factored form this way. So notice I took away my 1, when I had the 1 times, I dropped that off. And when I don't need the parentheses to show distributing or raising to a power, I don't need to put it there. So I have y minus 3 over 2y times y plus 6. And nothing cancels because that numerator has only got 1 factor in it. And so and that factor doesn't match any in the denominator. All right, so then we've got E. So I'm going to factor out a 5. That leaves me with a plus 7. And the denominator is a difference of squares, so a minus 7 and a plus 7. Then what's in common? Well, the a plus 7s are in common, so they make a 1. And that leaves me with 5 over a minus 7 left over right there. Then F, we need to factor that numerator. Remember, we learned the quick method for factoring that trinomial. So 2 numbers that multiply to be -5 and add to be 4 would be a plus 5 and a minus 1. They multiply to be -5 and they add to be 4. And x squared breaks up into x times x. Remember, that method only works if there's not a number in the front of the x squared if its coefficient is 1. Denominator, again, we'll do this. So two numbers that multiply to be -3 and add to be 2 would be +3 and -1. And then again, it's x times x in the front. Now, what do we have in common for this one? The x minus 1s are the same. So there's my 1. We'll make a 1, and that's going to leave me with then x plus 5 over x plus 3 for that answer. So we'll finish up the notes on the next video.